go through the simple example of how to configure, Google Auth, for example, right? So when you start up a simple sandbox now, after 0.13 is released, it will come up configured, like most of the configurations you need for enabling auth, but auth will not be enabled by default because it requires you to add, an additional step to link it to like some credentials you create at Google or whatever IDP you use. There is a link here for how to do that for Google, which I believe I can go to. So it goes, you can like read up on Google's docs on how to create credentials. Go back here. I did that previously, but it's simple. You can go to like your I think it's cloud.google.com. You authenticate as yourself, and this is all free. If you have just like a personal account, you can still do that. And you say you want to create credentials, and it's of type auth2 client credentials, which we also tell you to do. And you created one for Flyte admin. You end up with a client ID and secret. And a new bunch of URLs here to where it can go to. Obviously, this works with the sandbox. If you have a deployment with the real URL and DNS and so on, you should configure it as such. Yeah, so back to here. We just left a note that you can do it with Gitlock. Soren did. I just didn't get the time to get it set up and write down the actual configuration how to do it. If you did, please contribute. And then it goes through how do you configure this. And at a high level, there are two things you need to do, right? You need to set a secret somewhere, and we use Kubernetes secrets for that. The client secret we just looked at. And then you need to tell admin you should start enforcing authentication now and use this service, right? Like Google and so on. The secret is simple commands here, and if you can try to go through them. Oops, I thought that would zoom in, it didn't. Okay, so you can say kubectl edit secret and Flyte admin auth. Oh, sorry. The deployments now come with empty secrets that will populate the first time you like start the admin deployment. What's next? All right, let me just set my kubectl here. There we go. And so all the secrets, like there's no secrets checked into the repository. They're all generated for like unique to each deployment, and they stay as such. Like the first time you deploy this, it will generate new secrets, and then after you update admin or whatever, they will just remain the same. It will not reset. Existing login sessions and so on will continue to work. But we just want to make sure this is. We don't like to leak secrets or people start sharing the secret or whatever unknowingly, and we compromise like deployments. Yeah, so if you looked here, we already generated those 3 secrets. They are used for various things: cookie encryption or claim encryption in certain tokens, and it's tells you to add a secret under string data. And don't worry, yes, we are pasting a plain text secret, but, oh, this became too big. Sorry, zoom out, okay. Kubernetes, once you save this object, it will immediately encode it and encrypt it on the server. I think I can copy from here. Give me a second. Copy from a real browser. Here we go. All right, so it provides this convenience access, I guess, to plain secrets. You can add plain secrets. Once you do, once you save this object, they will get encoded and so on and converted into this data field. So let's save this. Oops. All right, so now the secret is there. Next, we need to configure admin to start enforcing authentication and tell it to go, to do that against Google. This is a bit awkward, but to find the config map that's currently used with Flyte admin, you can do this dance where it searches the current deployment for this string. And the reason we do this is because every time you change the config map in the deployment in customize, it generates like it hashes the contents and generates a new name, and it does that so it forces like a restart on the deployment if the only thing you changed is a config. But then the side effect is you end up with those random name config maps. You don't know which one is currently being used. Yeah, let's edit this. And you will notice here there's now a section that will come with any new deployments after 13 called auth, and it has a lot of configuration already filled in. Some of those have default values configured in admin, but others here that we think are common to be edited are configured, are like displayed. There is authorized URIs. This is what URLs you can like access admin from, and currently it comes with like the ingress endpoint for Sandbox, as well as internal endpoints that are used within the cluster. If you have like obviously a DNS, you should add that here, so it allows people to like redirect to those URLs to for the various authentication flows. And then there are two main sections below that. There's an app auth and user auth. So user auth is what we have been talking about so far. This is what we use for that was supports like SSO essentially, and the only current protocol supported is OpenID Connect, and it's filled in with some dummy values for Google Auth, but you should replace this client ID with the one you created at Google here, and pretty much leave the rest the same, right? And then you flip a switch that says use auth. Just say yep. I'm just doing the changes in line here. Ideally, you would change this in your customized deployment and you redeploy, so you have it in a consistent state. But you want to assume, and then you can restart admin. And if we did everything correctly, now if I visit Flyte admin, it should trigger auth, which it did not. Oh, there are other errors, I think. Whoa. Upstream Connect. I'm having, I think, ingress problems.
It's still restarting, I think. Try again.
Oh, that could be, yeah. Okay. Let's see. Looks like it's running, and it redirected me to login, but I am unable to access that. Okay, I will look into that. That's what makes a live demo, right? I will look into that afterwards. But yeah, that should be all you need to just do OpenID Connect. I will not go through the OAuth 2, but if you have a server that supports an external authorization server, examples again are Okta or Keycloak. There is documentation here for how do you configure Okta to be your app auth provider, and that lets you do things like so admin comes with this like simple implementation of this. But if you configure Okta, you can have a standardized like dashboard for all your, like the company apps, and you can enable disable those apps in like a central place. You can enforce like a consent screen, so every time somebody tries to authenticate with a new app, it will ask the user for do you approve this app of sorts, right? So it gives you a lot more fine-grained controls. And Flyte is not an identity provider. We don't want to implement any of that. They do it much better. So you should do this if you have, depending on the configuration in your company, and then it goes through telling you how do you configure that in for admin. And again, this is all you will have to edit. And then the other clients will just start prompting the users. If you're using CLI, it will just start prompting the users to authenticate and consent them or whatever. It will like discover the right, authorization server and so on through admin. Like we added a few new endpoints in admin to make this discovery easier. If you are coding a completely new client on your own, we should talk. We can like show you we don't have documentation on how do you do that, but I think at some point we will. But we can show you at least the existing patterns to use, so you don't like hard code any assumptions in your clients, and yeah, make it all discoverable.